You're such an asshole.
I do read through the comments because I get bored at night, and it's kind of the only conversation I have because there are not a lot of people in South Dakota, and I always get fascinated by. Say, I got a question. I'm gonna put it here. Does anyone know how to contact? Like, how dumb are you? Say, I don't mean to come off like the dick, but asshole. Because do you see? Did you see the intro? Asshole consulting? Yeah, I wonder if there's this thing. Are we at that point that there's a percentage of you that doesn't know how to, like, well, geez, how do I reach out and find somebody? And in the olden days, I used to like put the website. I'm like, I don't think I want to deal with a person like that. I really don't. We got a question. If you got questions, go to assholeconsulting.com. Did you hear that, everybody? Hey, asshole, longtime client. I appreciate your help, but I'm currently working 2 jobs as per your advice while trying to pay off my mortgage. There we go. How do I get out of debt? Well, Bipsy, you get another job. Is there a way that doesn't require work? I ride share as a side gig, but my day job is working for a printing company. Things have been working out well until the company owner heard what I did to one of my last employers. I said, "Well, what did you do?" And going back, he ended up starting his own print shop. He did. He this guy is a guy of his word. He went out and he started his own bit. I could do this, so he bought the equipment and all that. He now wants me to sign a no-compete agreement. I understand his position. This states that not only will I have no contact with my former customers, but I will not be allowed to work for another company, do graphic arts, or be able to start my own company unless I move 75 miles outside of town. I would double check, make sure, start your own graphic art company. Like, you should be able to start a company that doesn't compete against them. Not that you can't start a company, period. I checked your past video list. I do not see any videos you have done on this, so I'm willing to pay for a video on non-compete agreements. Also, I don't want to pay an attorney $300 to review the damn thing. I am cheaper than an attorney. I have been working here since August. I actually like it here. Well, good. There you go. Do sign the non-compete agreement. I'm going to get to more reasons why you should sign it anyway in your particular case. I'm a good fit for his company, and it took my boss 3 months to find me. I don't want to have to look for another job, but I feel like we're kind of having a Mexican standoff. Let me know your price when you have. And so I don't remember. I say, let me get this right. Your current employer found out you did something to your previous employer. What was it? What do you pay to your current employer? Blah, blah, blah. I left my business and started my own. It took a lot of his customers away from him. This is your original employer. When I shut the hobby down, I set the customers elsewhere. And I said, did you make money on this hobby? Only $400 a month, but I made $5,000 when I closed it. All right, so you didn't have a really profitable business. You made a little bit of money. This is where I get a kick out of people. I'm just going to start a business. Business! I'm like, oh, I don't make that much money. This is why when people said, hey, how should I get out of debt? Should I start a business? Something part-time. The best part-time business you could start is go work a second job. Because you all think starting a business and running a business and organizing a business and managing a business is easy. And it kind of is. It's just time-consuming and more expensive than you think. When you put in all your hours and labor and all that, and you get it all set up and all that, unless it's like a highly profitable business, like you're selling a high profit margin type of thing, you're making like $3 an hour. Should I go to school for law school? No, you should work a second job. So I like the fact you're working 2 jobs. Let me let me go over why you should sign the non-compete agreement. All right. The main reason is that you already tried to go and compete beforehand against your previous boss, and you didn't make that much money. You probably made around $2 to $3 an hour, whereas you're being paid a lot more to work for your current employer. He already has a pre-established business. Things are going well. You like the business. In other words, you're not going to go and start another printing business ever again because you already tried it once and you didn't really fail, but you didn't succeed either. It wasn't worth your time or money. So since you had no intentions of starting a business anyway, go ahead and sign the non-compete. All right. Now, when it comes to the rest of the audience, should you sign a non-compete agreement? It really depends on your specific employment situation. There are some reasons it's called for, but in general, I'm against it because it just gives your employer more power. And these HR employer types always try and make you sign documents so like you don't compete, you don't go work for the competition, and all you really do is handicap yourself. And I can't. It really is situation specific. Like if I'm trying to think of something where it would make sense, you wouldn't compete, and that's expected within the industry. Maybe like you. I'm trying to think of a scenario. You know, you're working on the secret ingredients of Coke. You have a non-compete that you can't go work for Pepsi. That makes sense. All right. That kind of makes sense. And you would sign that. But if it's just your rank and file employer and like, nope, you can't work for our competition because we're a bunch of boomer dickheads. Say, no, I'm not signing this. Well, you can't start a company on your own on the side. F you. There's some guy over, what was it, Portland, Seattle, fired 2 engineers who it sounds like weren't doing their job. And the reason they weren't doing the jobs because they're working 2 jobs at the same time from home. He fired them both. It's called overemployment. Like, you can't work for anyone else. Let me go back. It's not a non-compete, but it's tangentially related. God, 10, 15 years ago. Well, maybe not 15. 11, 12 years ago. I interviewed with a company out here in Rapid City, north of here. And everything was going well. This is in the depths of the recession. And I was like, thank God I'll get a job. Oh my God. And they gave me a job offer. It was a lowball offer, but I was happy to take it just to get out of the Twin Cities. And it was low enough that it was like, it's enough, but the hell if that's going to keep me loyal. And then employers like, I can't understand why we have high employee turnover. So he said it was between me and this old-time veteran, not war veteran, but veteran of banking, who was just kind of looking to get out of the house and do something. They decided to go with me for whatever reason. I guess I'd be more long-term. Offered me $40,000 a year. I'm like, fine, I'll take it. And this is where I had to drive across Minnesota and South Dakota, got hit by a snowstorm. I almost got stranded out in the middle of frickin' nowhere, South Dakota, because of the drifts. Managed to push my car, not physically push, but just barely got it through the storm and cleared up. I'm not joking, one of the greatest accomplishments of my life. Not long-term, but short-term. But I mean, like, I pushed through was it nerves of steel? Hang on, my voice is just dying here. It's in the back now. Punched through. The snowstorm ended. Road immediately, like within 100 yards, went from crap to pristine conditions. Huge victory lap. Making it into Rapid City at 4 a.m. Interviews at 8 a.m. I'm tired. And I remember, okay, we're going to get the job offer. And then the guy sent me an email, I believe. Yeah, it was an email. We need to have a talk. I'm like, what? What is it? What is it, you cocksucking, worthless baby boomer F-wit? What is it now? You gotta crap all over it. You just can't let it be, can you? We were a little concerned that you said you would be teaching dance classes. And when you came in, you weren't exactly smiling too much. And you're going to be a representative of this company. If you're going to go out in public, and I said, give it to the other guy. Give it to the other guy. And see, that's where I have a general distaste on signing non-compete agreements, because these employers, just because there's a shortage of labor now, the employers haven't figured it out. They're like, oh, wait, whoa, we went way too far in remember when HR was asking for Facebook passwords? They like that self-awareness. So employers are not like, oh, we learned our lessons. Okay, work-life balance, that's your life. We'll leave you be. That's why you don't sign a non-compete agreement, because they think like, oh, we own you. You know, like teachers, go look it up, Minneapolis public schools or Minnesota public schools. They're like, no, those are our kids. They actually think that your children, your biological children, are theirs when they're in the classroom. We got to teach them this. We got to teach them that. And we're not talking reading, writing, or arithmetic. It's like Susie needs to cut her tits off because she'll be popular. And that's empowering, that kind of stuff. Teachers are so great. Socialism is just, we didn't figure it out. So that echo chamber, that pendulum, it's the same thing with employers. They think they own you. And there's no reason for you. Once you sign the legal contract, you're legally bound. And now to get out of that, you're looking at a lawsuit. So in general, because non-competes come from the delusional and irrational expectations of controlling your life and your career from HR and corporate employers, in spite of the labor shortage they claim there is, you don't sign that because it only hurts your career. It pays to go through the documents you're signing. Got a job offer? All right, let me read through this. Let me see what you're saying I can and cannot do. Oh, again, tangentially related, not directly. And an employment lawyer could tell me a lot of times, like you go work for, I don't know, a science company. Let's say you go work for Pfizer. And in your workings, you discover a new strand of DNA that can cure a disease. That's Pfizer's. They own your innovations and creations. That's another one. I was like, no, no, I didn't go major in whatever biochemistry for 8 years, get a PhD for you to take the $1 billion idea. I come here, I give you hours of labor, you give me a wage. My intelligence, I get compensated for that, not you. My creativity, I get compensated for that, not you. You pay me for time, not innovation. And so that's like another thing. I know we're kind of going beyond the scope a little bit, but for you younger people, I know it comes from a good, honest, because I was there. Like, you want to impress your employer. You want to show them how good a corporate man or corporate woman you are. And you want to show them you could be a good asset to the team. And then you'll come up with this idea. Like, here's this idea I have. Like, don't you think it would help the company? Now, here's the irony. 95 out of 100 times, they're going to reject your idea. It'd be a great idea. It'd save them millions. I even had a client that one company, he saved them billions. And one company, one idea they implemented, it did make them hundreds of millions of dollars, and he was not rewarded or promoted. They just took the idea and ran. Another one, they ignored him, and then later on, they're like, oh, hey, we should do this. And no one, and it's like, so 95 out of 100 times, they're going to ignore you until you like, stop running the business. That's not your job. Well, because what? You gray hairs are doing such a great job of it, aren't you? But 5 out of 100 times, they'll say, that's a great idea. And your boss will take it. He'll give it to his boss and say, I came up with this idea. And they won't give you credit. And all of a sudden, that company makes billions of dollars off of your idea. If you have a genuinely good idea, you do not tell the company. Now, if it's like, back office streamlining, like I came up with an access database that will help us, right? You go into, but like a new product, a new process, a genuinely new thing, you never tell your employer that. Never. And if you sign a non-compete agreement because you weren't paying attention to what you're signed to because they offered you $60,000, they'll give you a 3% bonus, and you can't compete, You go find your dad or your mom or someone you trust. You say, this is my idea. I need you to create the LLC under your name, and we'll create this. And you make the profits, but with the understanding that you're going to pay me. You never. So in general, you should avoid signing non-compete agreements, but it is situation specific. But then when it comes to innovations, creations, and your ability to go and be entrepreneurial outside, a lot of them like, well, you can't work outside. Well, you can't teach dance classes. I guess I don't work for you then. I mean, you always got to get that job to make ends meet and blah, 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 unless you're a Democrat and just live off of other people. Because that's what you guys do. That's literally, I'm not even being facetious or funny. It's kind of tragic. But you got to get that job if you're a responsible adult, pay your bills, and kind of, oh my God, I'll just take the job so I can make ends meet. But a lot of these companies are expecting like, no, you're a corporate man and you don't work. I heard you're moonlighting. I mean, really, they get pissed off if they find out you're moonlighting as like, you know, a bartender or something. And I just go in there like, I'm going to be doing this. I'm going to start a company. Or you could just say, I have work-life balance. I come here to do my job. When I go home, it's none of your business what I do. Whether I'm working on a company in my garage, whether I'm programming code for a project I got, my social activities, my sexual life, my politics, none of your business. Now, if you're going to get in my business with HR asking for Facebook logins and passwords, and we don't know about, oh my God. Yeah, like, no, then we are not. But if you need someone to fill the database, I'm your guy. And I think that's a pretty healthy division. Like, you're not my life. I'm here to make money and go home. That's it. But we here are at the Cargill family. When they start saying family, you mean cult? All right. Any super chats? Hey, Chad, did you ever have to sign a non-compete for the Big Four? I guess that kind of thing. I'd be curious. Like, we're the Big Four. We have a big dick. You can't work at night on your own. All right. See you guys later. Toodles.